Hey everyone, it's Rebecca from Ontario Soccer, and I'm here today with a very special guest, Jesse Marsch, head coach of the Canadian men's national team. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Before we jump into this, we have to thank O'Neill's, our presenting partner for the 2025 Ontario Soccer Summit, for making this conversation possible. All right, Jesse. It's been a huge year for Canadian soccer under your leadership. Last year, the men's national team went to their first Copa America, finished in 4th place. As the head coach behind that historic run, what do you think were some of the key factors in the team's success?
Yeah, I think there was a real willingness from the players to adapt and learn the system that I wanted to create with them. And I think one of the reasons were because it played into their strengths, I think, as players. They're very athletic. It's a very fast team. It's a dynamic team, and that's what I challenged them. I challenged them to think more about those sides of things. And then they're also a very intelligent group and committed group. And so we had fun. You know, we enjoyed the process. We worked hard. But I think that they could all see the reasons behind what we were trying to do, and it made sense to them, and it benefited them as players.
All right. Well, clearly you've got a lot of love and respect for your squad there. You've got a lot of exceptional talents on the team. We like to call Made in Ontario.
Okay.
So that is like Jonathan David, Kyle Laren, Jonathan Osario. That's just like the top of the list. There's a lot more where that came from.
Yeah.
But is there anything special or anything that stands out to you about these players that came up through Ontario?
Well, one of the things that I talk about is when I made phone calls. I went and met some of the players in Europe right when I was appointed. And then I made phone calls to kind of acquaint myself with all of them. And I knew some of them already from playing against them mostly. But I kept looking at their bios, and Brampton kept coming up.
Yep.
Brampton. And I was like, what the heck is going on in Brampton? And so, you know, some of the guys educated me, you know, that there's a good mix of hunger, yet a community that provides opportunity for young athletes, not just in soccer, but in other sports as well. So, yeah, I mean, look, the Ontario is a hotbed, and Toronto specifically is a hotbed for developing players, and it's partly because there's so many people in one area, and then there's a lot of multiculturalism where the sport kind of comes from different spaces and different countries, and there's a heritage to what the sport means in different communities. So it makes it really cool to see all the players that came out from these areas. They all know each other from growing up. They're all very close. They know each other since they're like 10 years old, you know, so there's a real camaraderie within the team because of that.
Moving on to the summit. You'll be joining us at the summit next month, speaking on Canada's new DNA, both on the field and in the classroom. Without giving too much away, what can you tell us about this new DNA, and how is it going to influence the future of soccer in Canada?
Well, again, I've asked the team to think a little bit more about how to be dynamic and how to use their athleticism and their speed, and to think less about the elegance of the game, you know. And what I've said to them is, you know, my experience of coaching high-level football, and as much as maybe when people watch it on TV and they think, oh, look at all these passing connections and the patterns of play, and yeah, those exist and those are important parts of the game. But when you're up close in matches and you see the best players and you see the best teams, the power and speed that the game is played at the highest level is an incredible impression. And I think that we have the ability with the athletes that we have to meet the standards of the game at the highest level. And so that's what I'm learning is, you know, maybe if we depend too much on technical and tactical aspects of what the game is, that would challenge our overall player pool in this country. But if we allow these young athletic players to run, to be aggressive, to go after opponents, then I think we can really see the true qualities and the true talents of our player pool.
At the summit, we'll be joined by coaches, players, clubs from all over Ontario and at every level of the sport. What do you think will inspire and influence like the grassroots level of the game most from your presentation?
I don't know. I mean, I've also been on different tours and talked to different people about our coaching philosophies and what we're doing with the national team. And obviously not everything relates perfectly to exactly what you're doing at the grassroots level. But I think what's important is for people to understand how to apply some of the concepts, the principles, the tools that we're creating within these players, and how to then make that part of their development as they continue to grow. Certainly the aspects of technique and the ability to manipulate the ball and to grow within their bodies athletically, this is really important. And then to encourage them to be aggressive, to go after things, to play vertically, to go to press teams, to counter press teams. So, there'll be a lot. I think there'll be a lot of these different elements, and so I'll look forward to sharing some of the ideas, and hopefully some people can take some things away.
I'm sure there'll be plenty to take away. So thank you so much for joining us, Jesse. Thanks for stopping by on your cross-Canada tour that you're on right now.
Yeah.
And thanks for everything that you're doing. You're truly inspiring the next generation of Canadian soccer stars.
Awesome, Rebecca. Thank you.
Thank you. To see and hear more from Jesse Marsch, join us at the 2025 Ontario Soccer Summit. There is limited spots for his sessions, so make sure you get your tickets fast and secure your place. Thank you, and we'll see you at the summit.